And so these teachings and that natural responsiveness of self-givingness are so pure. They are so potent. And it is built into the foundational teachings of the yogic tradition. So at the end of the Brihadaranyaka, there's another dialogue. And there is a question that someone asks. And someone says, what is the most important teaching? And the answer is dana. The answer is to give. To live in such a way that you give. And for each person to give what the divine guides you to give, knowing that all things come from the divine. All things are here flowing through our experience, belonging to the divine while they flow through our experience. And so just to connect with that reality, with that realization, and allow that divine source, that divine giver of all gifts, to practice the most important thing through you. Good morning and welcome. 1,000 welcomes. So we've already been meditating, and what we're meditating on today is giving as spiritual practice. This is part of our full heart living. So I will share some teachings from the yogic tradition that are specific to the yogic tradition about giving. And I will also just mention, someone recently sent me a link, and so if you're interested in receiving this link, send me an email to swami@awakeyogameditation.org and we can share the link with you. But someone just recently sent me a link about tithing and the scriptural foundation of tithing. So many people in the Jewish tradition and in the Christian tradition give 10% of their income. And sort of like do that first, like write a check first before they write anything else. And someone who practices this mentioned that their perspective on it is not, oh, I have to give away 10%, but 90% comes to me, and then 10% circulates, and that keeps the flow going, like that keeps the abundance going. So if you want the particular scriptural foundations from the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament, just send an email to swami@awakeyogameditation.org. There's also some practical kind of Q&As, like just thinking through, responding to this. And the awareness always is that no human is asking anything of you. Everything comes from the divine. It belongs to the divine. So you're just connecting with the divine and listening to the divine. And these practices are to establish us in generous heartedness. That's the reason for these practices. The practices simply establish us in being open-hearted, generous of heart, generous of spirit. So now I'm going to share some teachings that are particular to the yogic tradition about giving. So this comes from a Persian scholar and polymath who lived in India in the 11th century. His name was Al-Biruni, and this is what he says. So he's observing. He's a visitor to India, living in India, and he's observing the practices of giving. It is a practice to give every day as much as possible. After taxes, some give 1/9 for alms. So that's even more than tithing. And this is a practice particular to the yogic traditions. Others divide their income after taxes into 4 portions: 1/4 for living expenses, 1/4 for alms, 1/4 for noble service, 1/4 for savings. And so again, just to share these teachings, and people are invited to tune in, absolutely everything belongs to the divine. And so for each listener, we are simply tuning into the divine and saying, everything belongs to you. What is your guidance about this flow of energy and life that you are sharing with me? How would you like to direct this? And then some teachings from the Chandogya Upanishad and the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The Upanishads are very foundational scriptures from the yogic tradition. And as I was meditating on these last night, they were just making me weep with gratitude. And also, there's a sense of fun in them as well, which I'm happy to share with you. I'll call out the spirit of fun as we get there.
Hi, I'm Porna, and I'm a karma yogi at Awake Yoga Meditation. We love to share the teachings of yoga philosophy. I mean, it's love, it's inspiration, it's peace, and this piece is for everybody. So if you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. Spread that joy, y'all.
Before we get there, I will share with you a teaching that crossed my path this week from contemporary days. And so, did anyone hear this story? There was a woman, it happened in, I think, about July of 2022 in Oklahoma, and she was ill. It was a sudden illness, so she was aware that she was going to be leaving the body, she was going to be passing, and she didn't want this to be a sad occasion. And she was a human who had a sense of fun and a sense of generosity, a sense of playfulness. She was very unique. And she had a 2016 VW Beetle, and she would drive around in her VW Beetle singing. And so she said to her nephew, who was her executor, please, at my funeral, raffle off my VW Beetle to someone who's attending. So at her funeral, people signed the guest book, and then they were given a raffle ticket, and they wrote their name and their contact information. And then this took a while, right? So the estate had to settle. A little bit over a year later, her nephew had settled everything and called a teenager, also in Oklahoma, who was now 16, who had been driving a hand-me-down of a hand-me-down car named Beige Betty. And Beige Betty had 160,000 miles on her and was on her last legs. And this is the winner of the 2016 VW Beetle. And so just this spirit of joy, this spirit of generosity, this spirit of fun and good humor is present through this whole story. And this teenager is only 16 right now, absolutely thrilled to have this VW Beetle to drive around. And she says, I'm only 16, but I'm going to do the same thing. When I have awareness that I'm going to be leaving the body, I'm going to do the same thing. And so it's just this lovely indicator and reminder that generosity begets generosity. And just this fun of giving is so evident in that particular story. So now I'm going to share with you, these are some teachings from the Upanishads. And they are teachings that answer the call of the human heart, is the way that I will put this. These are teachings that are aware every single human is vast, is limitless, is unquenchable good humor and laughter, love beyond measure, light and wisdom and kindness and joy beyond limitation. And then we're here in this human body. And in the human body, we experience the pairs of opposites. And we experience pleasure and pain. We experience what the Bhagavad Gita describes as victory and defeat. We experience gain and loss. And so this, across the ages, is a gift of pure love from these yogis to all humans who are here in the body, who are crying out, who are calling out, who are saying, I'm here, but I'm here in this body that is breaking. I'm here, but I'm here in this heart that is broken. I'm here, but I'm here in this mind that is deeply challenged right now by what I am observing in my life or in the lives of those I love or in the world right now. And this is what the yogis say. And when I was reading it last night, just tears of love and gratitude and respect were streaming down my face. And you will see why as you listen. The one who glows in the depths of your eyes, that is Brahman. That glow in your eyes, that is Brahman. It is there. It is in every one of you. It is in every human always. It is in you when you are laughing. It is in you when you are crying. It is in you when you are dancing. It is in you when you are shrieking because you have no idea what is going on or how to move forward next. The one who glows in the depths of your eyes, that is Brahman, the self of yourself. That is the beautiful one, the luminous one, in all the worlds, forever and ever. It shines. Within the city of Brahman, which is the body, there is the heart. And within the heart, there is a little house. This house has the shape of a lotus. And within it dwells that which is to be sought after, inquired about, and realized. Within it are the heaven and the earth, the sun, the moon, the lightning, and all the stars, all things that exist, All beings and all desires are in the city of Brahman. Though old age comes to the body, the lotus of the heart does not grow old. At death of the body, it does not die. The lotus of the heart, where Brahman exists in all glory, that and not the body is the true city of Brahman. Brahman, dwelling therein, is untouched by any deed, ageless, deathless, free from grief, free from hunger and from thirst. His desires are right desires, and his desires are fulfilled. The self resides within the lotus of the heart. Knowing this, consecrated to the self, the sage enters daily that holy sanctuary. Absorbed in the self, the sage is freed from identity with bodily consciousness and lives in blissful consciousness. The self is the immortal, fearless. The self is Brahman. The self within the heart is like a boundary. Day and night cross not that boundary, nor old age, nor death. And you can feel the power of that, just the absolute truth of that. And so when this particular teaching says that the sage enters daily that holy sanctuary, that just is back to the teaching from the Bhagavad Gita, be a yogi. Enter the sanctuary of your own heart every day. How? The 4 pillars of realization as they are shared in this community and in the yogic tradition: love, wisdom, service, and meditation. And so daily, loving, steady, faithful practice of meditation, connecting with these wisdom teachings of truth, filling your heart with that energy of pure love, that energy of your spiritual ideal, however you name the divine, by whatever name you approach the divine, connecting with that continually and allowing that to flow through you. And then karma yoga, the steady, faithful, regular practice of being of service to the divine. And then what happens is, no matter what, we are living in the city of Brahman, always. This does not tell you you will always get your way in time and space. It does not tell you that you will always be comfortable with what you observe in yourself or in the lives of others or in the world. It tells you the city of Brahman is always there. Old age and death and pain and grief are not there. Day and night are not there. It is unchanging light. And it is the true nature of each one of us. So you can see how completely precious these teachings of truth are. And they are available here by grace in a particularly precious way. So Swami Nityananda founded this community, and it is just full bore present right here. And so I just want to acknowledge it's present right here, because every time we meditate, we're doing this. We're living this teaching. We're connecting with this radiant light. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, there is no end to thy wisdom and thy illumination. Every time we meditate in community, we increase our own connectedness to that energy. We increase the way in which limitless wisdom and illumination is able to share through us spontaneously. The way that love beyond measure, pure love, nobly and honorably, is able to share through us without limitation. Now I'm going to share with you a teaching from the Brihad Aranyaka, and this one made me laugh. I'll point out why. The Brihad Aranyaka, I will also just mention, at the end of the meditation, when you heard me say, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, through death to immortality, that is from the Brihad Aranyaka. And so it's built into our meditations every time we gather and meditate. In the Brihad Aranyaka, there's a wonderful series of stories about a student who is listening to a teacher and who is realizing what I just named. This is the most precious teaching that I can possibly imagine. It's open to all people, it's open to all races, all ages, all genders, all backgrounds, all traditions, all nationalities. Anyone in any body is welcome to realize the divine as it is named in these teachings. And it is so potent and so true and real, and it works. So there's in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad a king who's listening to a teacher share these teachings, and the king is listening to the teacher, and he says, "This is so amazing what you are saying. I will give you 1,000 cows. Please keep talking." I looked that up. $2.8 million. $2.8 million. So the king says, "I will give you 1,000 cows. These teachings are so precious, so potent, so real. They work. Keep talking." And so the teacher keeps talking, and after some time, the king says, "I will give you another 1,000 cows, another 2.8 million. Keep talking. I need to hear this. I want to listen to this." So the teacher keeps talking, and after some time, the king says again, "I will give you another 1,000 cows, 2.8 million. And after some time, the teacher keeps talking, and the king says, "I will give you my empire. And I will give you myself to be of service to you." And so these teachings and that natural responsiveness of self-givingness are so pure. They are so potent. And it is built into the foundational teachings of the yogic tradition. So at the end of the Brihadaranyaka, there's another dialogue. And there is a question that someone asks, and someone says, "What is the most important teaching?" And the answer is dana. The answer is to give. To live in such a way that you give. And for each person to give what the divine guides you to give, knowing that all things come from the divine. All things are here flowing through our experience, belonging to the divine while they flow through our experience. And so just to connect with that reality, with that realization, and allow that divine source, that divine giver of all gifts, to practice the most important thing through you. The other thing that I want to say is, you do that because there is so much generosity of love here. There is so much generosity of spirit here. It is absolutely beautiful and precious. So connect with that and establish yourself in that and listen to that source of all that is. And then have fun and keep your sense of humor and allow the divine to give through you with joy and generosity in ways that allow that new life to be made visible in time and space. Thank God, and God bless us all.